Hi, I'm Zaria. For as long as I can remember, my parents made it crystal clear that my brother Marcus was their golden child. Everything from birthday celebrations to career choices. Marcus got the spotlight while I stood in the shadows. Zaria, why can't you just be more like your brother? My mother's favorite phrase echoed through our family home as I sat at the kitchen table, trying to share news about my latest business venture. Mom, I was just telling you about the new tech startup I'm investing in, I said, pushing my untouched coffee away. She waved her hand dismissively. That's nice, honey. Did you hear Marcus got promoted again? Executive Vice President at only 32. Now that's something to celebrate. My father nodded from behind his newspaper. Your brother's got the right instincts. Always has. Right, I muttered. The right instincts for taking credit for other people's work. Don't start with that jealousy again, Mom snapped. It's unbecoming. Dad lowered his paper slightly. Your mother's right. Marcus has always applied himself. You've been scattered. Scattered. That was their polite way of saying I hadn't followed their prescribed path. What they didn't know, what I'd deliberately kept from them, was that my scattered investments and business ventures had quietly amassed a fortune of $15 million. Speaking of Marcus, I said, changing the subject, where is he today? I thought he was joining us for brunch. Emergency at work, Dad said proudly. They can't function without him. I nodded, hiding my eye roll behind my coffee cup. 3 days later, my best friend Diane called me in a state. Zaria, you need to hear this, she said, her voice tight with anger. I was at Coastal Cafe yesterday, and Marcus was there with some guy, talking super loud about you. I felt my stomach tighten. What was he saying? He was bragging that his little sister is loaded and has 15 mil just sitting there. He was saying how he's going to convince you to invest in some scheme of his. My blood ran cold. That's impossible. I've never told my family about my money. Well, somebody did. And Z, it gets worse. He said, and I'm quoting here, she's always been desperate for family approval. One sob story about mom and dad needing help, and she'll hand over whatever I ask for. My hands gripped the phone so tight my knuckles turned white. How would he even know how much I have? He mentioned someone named Craig? Said this Craig guy works at your investment firm and let it slip during a golf game? Craig Peterson? My junior advisor? The betrayal stung twice now, professionally and personally. Z, what are you going to do? I stared out my apartment window at the city skyline I'd earned through years of hard work, while my family dismissed my efforts. First, I'm going to find out exactly what Marcus is planning. Then, I'm going to make sure he regrets ever thinking he could use me like this. That's my girl, Diane said. Want me to come over? Please. And Diane, thanks for telling me. That's what real family does, Z. We look out for each other. My first stop was Trey's office, my senior financial advisor and the only person besides myself who should have known my complete financial picture. Someone accessed your confidential information? Trey's normally composed demeanor shifted to alarm. That's a serious breach, Zaria. It was Craig Peterson. Apparently, he's golf buddies with my brother. Trey's fingers tapped rapidly on his keyboard. Craig has accessed your full portfolio summary 3 times in the past month. That's unusual. Can you lock everything down? Change access permissions? Already doing it. He looked up at me. Zaria, if your brother attempts to manipulate you for financial gain based on illegally obtained information, that's criminal. We should document everything. That's exactly what I intend to do. I left Trey's office and drove straight to my parents' house, where I found my mother arranging flowers in the kitchen. Zaria, what a surprise! Marcus just called. He's coming for dinner. You should stay. Actually, Mom, I wanted to ask you something. Has Marcus mentioned anything about my finances recently? She froze momentarily. What do you mean? I mean, has he talked about me having money? About asking me to invest in something? Her eyes darted away. Well, he might have mentioned you've done well for yourself. We're all so proud. Cut it, Mom. Has he specifically mentioned $15 million? Her silence was answer enough. And let me guess, he's planning to ask me to invest in something? Maybe using you and Dad as leverage? Now, Zaria, that's not fair. Your brother is just trying to include you in a wonderful opportunity. He thinks about you, even when you shut us out. Shut you out? My voice rose despite my efforts to stay calm. I've invited you to every milestone event in my life, and you've always had an excuse, usually involving Marcus. That's not true. We've always treated you both equally. The day I graduated with my MBA, you skipped the ceremony to attend Marcus's company picnic. He needed our support. His boss was there. I laughed bitterly. And I didn't need support? Do you even know what company I work for? Or did you just find out I have money and suddenly I'm interesting? You're being dramatic. Marcus said you might react this way. Of course he did, because he knows exactly how you've treated me my entire life, and he's counting on it continuing. I left my mother sputtering and called Diane. My own mother knew. They're all in on it. I'm not surprised, Diane replied. What's the plan? I'm meeting with my attorney tomorrow. Then I'm having a family dinner Saturday. I've invited everyone, Mom, Dad, Marcus. I want witnesses when I confront him. Want me there? Always. And Diane, we're going to need records of everything. Bring your phone? Saturday arrived with a thunderstorm that matched my mood. I'd arranged for dinner at my condo, neutral territory with security cameras in the lobby and hallways. Wow, sis, nice place. Marcus whistled as he walked in, eyes scanning everything like he was taking inventory. Business must be good. It is, I replied coolly. Please, everyone sit down. My parents settled in, Mom immediately gushing. Marcus just closed a huge deal at work. Tell her about it, sweetie. Actually, I interrupted, I called this dinner to discuss something specific. Marcus leaned back, confidence oozing. Is this about that investment opportunity I mentioned to Mom and Dad? Because the timing is perfect. No, Marcus. This is about you learning about my personal finances through fraudulent means and planning to manipulate me. The room went silent. Marcus's smile froze. What are you talking about? He finally managed. I'm talking about you bragging at Coastal Cafe about my 15 mil just sitting there. About your plan to use our parents as leverage to get me to invest in your scheme. Someone's obviously feeding you lies, he scoffed. Jealousy makes people say crazy things. I have witnesses, Marcus, and documentation of Craig Peterson illegally accessing my financial information. Dad shifted uncomfortably. Now, Zaria, I'm sure there's a misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding, I cut in. Craig has been fired, and my attorney has all the evidence, including recordings. Marcus's face darkened. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Family helps family. You've always been so dramatic. Family helps family? I repeated. When have you ever helped me? When have any of you put me first? Mom jumped in. We've always supported you. Just because we couldn't make it to every little event. Little event? My college graduation was a little event? My first company launch was a little event? Zaria, please. Marcus's tone changed, softening. Look, I'm sorry if you felt left out sometimes. We can fix this. We're family. All I'm asking is that you consider this investment opportunity. It's guaranteed returns. Nothing is guaranteed, except that I will never give you a dime. You selfish bitch! Marcus stood suddenly, mask dropping completely. You've always been jealous of me. Now you finally have something I need and you won't help? After everything we've done for you? Everything you've done for me? I laughed. Please enlighten me. We raised you. We put up with your constant need for attention, your weird business ideas. That made me $15 million. Money you're hoarding while your family could use help. Dad's retirement isn't what he expected, but you don't care. Dad looked startled. Marcus, I never said— Shut up, Dad! Marcus snapped, then turned back to me. You'll regret this. Family is forever, and you're making enemies of the only people who will ever truly care about you. His voice had risen to a shout, his finger jabbing toward my face. You either help me out, or I'll make sure everyone knows what an ungrateful, selfish person you really are. Is that a threat, Marcus? I asked calmly, pressing the recording button on my phone. It's a promise, he snarled. You think you're so smart with your money and your fancy condo? Let's see how successful you feel when I'm done with you. Diane stood up. I think that's enough evidence. Don't you, Zaria? My parents looked confused. Evidence? What is she talking about? Mom demanded. Evidence of attempted financial manipulation, slander, and now threats, I explained. All documented and witnessed. Marcus lunged toward me, but Diane stepped between us. I wouldn't, she warned. The security cameras in this building work really well. 3 days later, I sat across from Detective Rivera at the police station. We've reviewed your evidence, Miss Johnson, combined with the documentation from your financial institution about the unauthorized access to your accounts. We have enough to proceed with charges. What happens next? I asked. Mr. Peterson has already admitted to sharing your financial information illegally. As for your brother, the recorded threats and the witness statements give us clear grounds for a restraining order at minimum. And maximum? Financial crimes can carry serious penalties. Given the amount involved and the premeditated nature, he could be looking at significant legal consequences. My phone buzzed with texts from my parents, begging me to drop the charges. Family supports each other, my mother's message read. Marcus made a mistake, but he's sorry. I showed Detective Rivera. They've been calling nonstop. Would you like to add them to the restraining order? I considered this. Not yet, but I'm not dropping the charges. 2 weeks later, we all gathered in a conference room with our respective attorneys. Marcus looked diminished, his usual swagger replaced by nervous fidgeting. Zaria, please, he began when he saw me. I was desperate. The company is investigating me for some accounting irregularities. I needed money fast. I'm your brother. You're a person who happens to share my DNA, I corrected. You've never been a brother to me. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'll make it up to you. No, you won't. You'll face the consequences of your actions, possibly for the first time in your life. My mother tried one last time. Zaria, darling, he's family. Whatever he's done, surely we can work it out privately. The way you worked out attending my college graduation? Or my award ceremony last year? Or my birthday? Any birthday? We made mistakes, Dad admitted quietly. We didn't realize. It's too late for that realization, I said. For 30 years, I was never enough. My accomplishments were never important enough. Now my money is suddenly worth your attention? No, thank you. After the meeting, where Marcus agreed to a settlement rather than face criminal charges, Diane and I walked through the park. How does it feel? She asked. Bittersweet, I admitted. I never wanted revenge. I just wanted parents who cared about me as much as they cared about him. You can't choose your biological family, she said. But you can choose your real one. And you've built an amazing one. Me, Trey, your team at work, everyone who values the incredible person you are. You know what's funny? I spent my whole life trying to prove myself to them. Turns out the only person I needed to prove anything to was myself. And you've done that a million times over. So what's next for Zaria Johnson? Self-made millionaire and badass? I smiled, watching children play on the swings ahead of us. I'm thinking of starting a foundation for young entrepreneurs from unsupportive families. Turn all this negative energy into something positive. Now that's the best revenge of all, Diane grinned, linking her arm through mine. Do you think other people have stories like mine? I wondered. Family members who only showed interest when money was involved? More than you'd believe. Maybe you should share your story sometime. Might help someone else stand up for themselves. As we walked on, I felt lighter than I had in years. Sometimes the family you're born into isn't the family you deserve. And sometimes the greatest act of self-love is simply walking away.